So this is what inspired Heath Ledger's Joker? Wow, okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel where I talk about movies. Today I'm going to be talking about A Clockwork Orange. Now before I get into this review, I'm going to have to give you a little bit of context as to why I watched this movie, because I would have never picked this movie on a regular Saturday night just out of curiosity. I'm doing a deep dive on the character of the Joker, and more specifically I'm diving into Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. Now if you watch interviews with Christopher Nolan, he told Heath Ledger to watch and read A Clockwork Orange.
Talked about Malcolm McDowell's performance of Clockwork Orange in the film. We talked about Clockwork Orange, the book, and who Alex is in the book is kind of different.
So I found that very interesting, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing because I want to know everything that went into the preparation of Heath Ledger's Joker. So with that being said, if it wasn't for research purposes, I would have not finished this movie. I did not enjoy the first act of this movie, and that's mainly because of two reasons. Number one, the language that they use in this movie is very like old English style, like if you were living in the 1700s. It's not like your normal English, like, hey, what's up, how you doing, buddy? No, it's like they use sentences like, can you spare me some cutter, me brothers? And I was just like, oh my god, I don't have time for this. It just wasn't what I was in the mood for that night. And then on top of that, the second factor, there's a lot of unexplained violence in the beginning, like just him raping people, beating people, assaulting old men on the street. Like, it's just like, what the hell is going on? And I'm not the type of person that's against violence in movies. I love me some good violence if it's done right. It's gory, I can watch gory movies, but there was just no context for it. So I'm not the type of person that likes watching violence for the sake of watching violence. I was like, this is kind of just, I don't like this at all. So like I said earlier, if it was just me watching this movie, done. 5 minutes in, I would have turned the TV off. I would have found something else to watch because I was like, I'm not into this. In the back of my head, I was like, I know there's a reason why Christopher Nolan showed this to Heath Ledger. He wanted him to use Alex DeLarge as a reference, a framework for the Joker. So I was like, there's gotta be a point to this. And I'm just like, I have faith in you, Christopher Nolan, so that's literally the only reason why I stuck around to the end. But yeah, this first act was tough, to say the least. I mean, the language is bizarre, the relationship with the parents is bizarre, there's more violence, and then there's this weird lady that's in love with cock art, for lack of a better term. I mean, I don't know what to describe this as, but like, you tell me. And then they catch him and put him in jail, and he's in the prison system, and then we get into the second act, which is amazing. I mean, there is no better feeling than when a movie's really bad, but then it starts to slowly get good, because like, when a movie's bad, I mean, you're just dreading the time. You're just like, oh my god, when is this shit gonna be over, you know? But when the second act came around, I was like, okay, okay, oh okay. I mean, I literally paused the movie. I got me some Sour Patch Kids. I got ice cream. I got me a Gatorade. I was like, I'm fucking in, dude. Like, let's go. But yeah, if you want to boil it down to two things like I did in the first act, the two things that made the second part of this movie amazing was the imagery and the sense of direction that we got. There's literally nothing worse than when you don't know the direction that the movie's going in. And that's what I didn't like about the first act, is that I was like, there's no explanation for this violence. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, what is going on, dude? Like, please tell me. But once we get to the second act, we understand that this guy's just a crazy lunatic that loves violence, and now the mayor has this program that he wants to try out on the inmates that's gonna make them normal and put them back into society. So now I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, now I know where we're going. Like, we have like a goal, or like something, like a journey to follow along with our main character. Now I'm in, let's go. And the imagery in the second act is phenomenal. I mean, there's literally scenes where your eyes will not leave the screen. Like this one, for example, when they're putting Alex through the experiment. I mean, look at this. This is so frightening to look at. They have him in a straitjacket. They have this weird thing on his head that makes him look like Pinhead, and they have his eyelids open so he can't close them. I mean, that scene is just scary and intense, bro. Like, I was watching that like, oh my god. I just had this unsettling feeling while I was watching it. I mean, because it's like, these are the type of people that we look up to. I mean, scientists, doctors, they're smart. You want your kids to become a doctor or scientist, but you also know there's the other side of the coin, which is there's always inhumane experiments that have been done on humans. There's government secret operations that happen behind our backs. You know that happens. You know that happens, bro. Those are the horror stories that you hear that nightmares are made of, and you just pray to God that you'll never be in that situation, because oh my god, could you imagine being a part of one of those experiments? Just like, oh no, please, please, no, 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 no. But yeah, that whole sequence in the movie was just unnerving. And the second scene that I want to point out is when they're doing the demonstration with Alex that the experiment worked. I mean, that scene is so visually captivating. And no, I'm not talking about the girl's tits, okay? I mean, there's Pornhub for that, for crying out loud. That's not what I'm trying to point out here. Alright, stay with me. But I'm talking about the way it's shot, the camera angles, the lighting. I mean, it almost puts you in like a trance. It's so visually captivating. I mean, that scene puts you in like a trance-like state. You're just like, whoa. But yeah, to me, the second act of this movie was definitely the high point of the film. I mean, the third act is good and we're gonna get into it, but for me, the second act was wow. Unbelievable. But let's go ahead and get into the third act of the movie, which to me is almost like the perfect representation of karma. I mean, that's really what the third act to me was, because they release him back into society and literally everybody that he hurt in the past or caused harm to their lives, it's now their turn to hurt him. I mean, it's insane. Literally everybody. I mean, let's go through it. The old drunk in the alleyway sees him again and then gets all his other old bums to beat him up, and then the friend that he stabbed is now a policeman, and then like they almost drowned the guy, and then the house that he broke into, he goes into the same house and then that guy just tortures him with music and then almost makes him kill himself. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's the perfect example of karma, because like karma is like whatever you do to someone is gonna come tenfold back to you, whether that be positive or negative. If you're really nice to people and kind to them, then life's gonna be really good to you. And if you're really bad to people, it's gonna come back really bad to you, at least if you believe in karma. Now let's talk about the end of this movie, which is, it's okay, it's not bad, it's not great. I like what they're trying to portray, like the corruption of our society and like how bullshit the media is. Like the mayor, for example, like he never really cared about Alex DeLarge, he just cares about his re-election and how he looks in the public eye, which is so typical of politicians. And then the media never gives you the actual truth behind everything. They're just trying to portray an image and like bring someone up or tear someone down like they show in the end of the movie. The people are upset with the mayor because of what they did to this guy, and then like they undo what they did to this guy to kind of like get back in the public eye and look good for like the re-election campaign. And the media's there taking pictures when he's like holding thumbs up with the mayor. It's just like, oh, this is so typical. And I know what they're trying to show, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, the ending of this movie is just him going back to his like former self and like being an evil person, and him visualizing raping a woman. And I was like, okay, that was an okay ending. It's like not the stamp that I want. Because like I said, the second act was amazing. And the third act wasn't bad, but it just wasn't great. In order for the third act to be as good or better than the second act, you really have to have a great ending to like really have that stamp on it, you know? And that last scene didn't really just have that impact on it. But what I will say that I love about the end of this movie is the song that they choose to close out the film. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Like, that's such a happy song. It just puts everyone in a joyful mood. And the fact that they chose that song with like the darkness of the message of the end of the movie and like that mix is just fantastic. I truly love the end of that. Excuse me, I truly love that aspect of the ending. Like, it was just such a beautiful blend. But other than that, the ending was just okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna give A Clockwork Orange a B+. Like I said, the second act of this film was definitely the high point. Then it kind of plateaus throughout the third act. The first act, I was just like, oh my god, get me through this. But let me know what you guys think about A Clockwork Orange. Did you enjoy it? Do you find it disturbing? Leave that all down in the comment section below, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.